Hey, hi, hello, beautiful souls. You are listening to Embody Soluna, a podcast about healing through spirit and love. If you are new here, hello, welcome. And if you are returning, hello, friend. It's good to have you back. We're glad you're here. Well, tonight's episode is bittersweet. As it would turn out, September 17th is a Tuesday. We typically publish our episodes on Tuesdays, so that works out really nicely. But on top of that, September 17th is also the anniversary of Embody Soluna becoming a podcast. September 17th, 2020, Embody Soluna was born. And it was born out of an idea. At the time, initially, I wanted to find a way to bridge the gap between like science and spirituality, right? Find the places where those things could coexist and kind of talk about them. Along the way, Embody Saluna became a place for story, my personal story, my personal healing journey. And then it started to become a place where I envisioned kind of talking about mental health and maybe the misinformation or just poor guidance that exists in the online space as related to mental health. Um, and that's kind of where it, you know, has sort of stalled out, for lack of a better phrase. Um, I want to talk about the journey of Embody Saluna for just a moment tonight. When I started the podcast, I didn't know that it would be anything more than what it was the first night. I wasn't sure that I would ever record anything else after that. I wasn't sure what it would look like or what I would do with any of it. Um, and I definitely wasn't sure that it would become anything, right? I had no plan for it to become anything at all. Um, and then, it kind of became fun and it kind of became what I needed and it kind of became something that people enjoyed listening to. And then it started to make money and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. So I did it. I did it. And now this is the start of year 5 and I've made a really big decision. And it's a difficult decision, but it's also an important decision. Here we are, year 5, the start of year 5, the anniversary of Embody Saluna, September 17th, 2024. 4 years ago, we started this journey, and tonight we are going to end it. This will be the final episode of the Embody Saluna podcast. This is a bittersweet moment for me. I don't know if you can tell if you're just listening to the audio version. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm having a difficult time breathing. Um, if you're watching the video podcast, I don't know how much of it is really obvious through seeing it or seeing me rather. I don't know if you can see it like on my face or in my demeanor, but I am struggling and I have been struggling to get this out. Um, let's talk for a minute. I I if you are listening or have been listening, you'll know that the last 2 episodes that we put out were um, compilation episodes, which in the world of like media, that's a really cheap and easy way to put out content without doing any work when you're kind of stalled. Um, so I put out 2 compilations back to back. We put together our top episodes, and then we put together all of the bonus episodes, which are more creative. It's like my writing or my poetry. Um, so those have been the last 2 episodes. Right before that was a very emotional episode about Father's Day. And at the same time that that episode was coming out, and frankly that Father's Day was happening, I had a lot of other things converge in my personal life, and I have needed to take a big step back from so many things. Um, I have needed to put my mental health front and center. I have needed to put my physical health right next to that, front and center. They have shared a lot of space for the last several months. Um, I have been just, it's like I thought that I was going to walk along the shore of a beach only to find that I got pulled into the vastness of the ocean with no floaties, unsuspecting, because I was just going to walk along the shore, you know? And then it just kind of pulled me in and under. And now I'm just trying to breathe. I'm trying to just not die. That probably sounds all very dramatic. I don't know if it's as dramatic as it sounds, but life has been a challenge lately. Um, and it has helped me recognize a few things. So, because this space has become about my own personal story, I'm not going to get into the depths of what's been going on for me, because I realize actually that for a very long time prior to this podcast, I have had my life online. Um, for probably the last 15 or so years. That's a rough estimate. I don't know exactly, but I have had my life online in one way or another. And this podcast was the same. Though I didn't think that that's what it was going to be, that is what it became. So I'm not going to get into the depths of things, because one thing that I recognize is that it's nobody's business what's happening in my life. Um, I took a leave of absence from work so that I could deal with my things, and I'm, trying to get back into the routine of things. I have changed up my schedule in order to make that better, and also for other reasons that I need just clinically. And I've also, taken on the task of attempting a dual license. So I'm very uh, um, occupied, I guess, with work and with requirements for second license, um, and then monitoring my mental health and my physical health, and trying to just stay afloat. In the meantime, I've also taken a social media detox, which, by the way, has been wonderful. I don't know that I'll ever go back for personal reasons. There are things that I can see it being a benefit in terms of, like, uh, marketing, which I'll come back to in just a moment. But I'm fine with never being there for personal reasons ever again. It's been such a breath of fresh air to be off of social media. I can't even express the immense weight that has been lifted since turning away from that, truly. We'll talk about a few things here momentarily, because people are going to say, "You're not off social media," and I'm going to have to justify that. Whatever. Anyway, so that's my short story. But in the process of all that, and in the process of kind of trying to heal and do some personal work, one thing that has stood out for me that has been more and more true is that it's time to put the podcast to rest. I have loved it. I have loved being able to sit here and talk and share some part of me in hopes that it resonates with somebody else so that someone else doesn't have to feel so alone. Um, but it's gotten to the point now where there are other things that I want to put my attention toward that are more meaningful to me, and I can't do it all. So I'm going to make a shift. From the personal side, I think I've mentioned a time or two on here that I'm writing a book, that I have been writing a book. Actually, I have a couple in the works in tandem, side by side. One is a work of fiction, a novel work of fiction, and one is a work of poetry that's a bit more actually like autobiographical. So I kind of work between them. But the book that I want to focus on is the work of fiction. I've been writing that novel for quite some time. I do blog about it on my personal channel, um, and I'm getting ready to kind of do more over there, not personal, only the authorship, only the writing process. Um, but it is a work that I A want to finish and B does hold a lot of meaning for me. And third is what I think speaks most to my soul and my purpose on the planet. And so for me to continue to put that on the back burner, to continue to not give it its due sort of attention really hurts my heart. It hurts my heart so badly because I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do. And I keep putting other things in front of it out of fear that I will either be seen or fear that I will be rejected. Either way, it hurts to think about. But it's time. It's time to focus on it and it's time to wrap it up and it's time to put it in front of people. And I can't devote the time to that if I'm putting it in other places. So, on the personal end of things, that is a big part or a big contributor or a big factor to why I've chosen to end the podcast. I really want to take whatever extra time I have and put it toward writing. I want to finish that book. I want to finish the poetry book. And I have 1,000 other ideas in my mind, just waiting for me to pick one and start doing something with it. So that's number one. That is what I want to put my attention on and focus on. I want to work on cultivating community around the writing process with both the Instagram account and the YouTube channel strictly for that. So not for any personal things, not to share my personal life, not to share any parts of my personal life unless they those parts are also related to the writing process. Um, so that is now what those two things are for. From the professional perspective, the probably biggest factor towards me closing or ending the podcast is that there's two things. One, the numbers have gone down, right? So people are not listening as much. I'm not getting as many new listeners. Uh, the numbers for the video podcast never, I mean, like they didn't even scratch the surface of being anything. And it's a lot of work to do these. And I just feel like if the same number of people came over, we probably would have been okay, but that was not happening. There's a very clear divide between video and audio, and the video is just not cutting it, but the audio is also it's also going down. There are a number of reasons why that could be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, And it doesn't matter because again, to go back to the personal reason, I don't want to put forth that much energy towards it anymore. I feel like my energy is being misplaced in this space when it could be utilized for writing what I think could be a very beautiful story. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I kind of started to feel the shift. I had several people lined up for guest hosting the podcast, like interviews, if you will, but just fun guest hosting, right? I had several people lined up who verbally were like all in for it. But then when we started to send out the forms that we needed to have completed and get things set up and get everything scheduled, they dropped. They just one by one dropped off. And so I felt a little like maybe that's a sign, right? Like maybe that actually isn't the direction that I need to move into. Maybe this is just confirmation that things are dwindling and coming to a close as opposed to heating up and getting bigger, right? And I am not one to, like, I'm stubborn, but in this arena, it's very clear. I read the analytics, right? We just don't get a lot of participation. We don't get a lot of um, listens anymore. There was a period of time when it was really good, and it's just been falling. And because the energy isn't there and because we're not getting participation, it's hard to create content that will appeal to people when nobody's indicating what they want. So I'm going to close it because it's just a lot of effort for something that my heart just isn't in anymore, right? It's like knowing that a relationship has to end even when it's a lovely relationship. It just isn't a good fit any longer. I have really truly enjoyed sitting here and sharing my story and having people listen. Um, and I don't know that I will go away permanently forever, but this will close nicely with a little bow. Um, I'm not getting rid of the podcasts, like the old episodes, they're going to always remain there. We will be turning off monetization. So if you have been um, a monthly subscriber, first of all, thank you so much. It's because of you that we have even continued for this long. It's been so lovely to have that as an additional support. But we will be turning it off. So your last payment should have been September and there should be no more after that. Please reach out to us if there is something that happens on your side and you get charged again after the month of October, or I guess after the month of September, because you shouldn't have anything um, drawn in October. So all of those things are going to be turned off. The website will also be closed out, and so will the Instagram account. So the only thing that will exist are the old podcasts on Spotify, I guess, until Spotify gets rid of them. But they will remain there. There's just not going to be anything new, and we're turning off all of the subscription things, so you're not going to pay for it anymore. The witchy, occulty, mystic Scorpio moon side of me is running an Instagram where I do a daily tarot card reading. I started it in August. It's only for fun. If you want to check it out, you can go over there and you can follow it. But my goal is to do one tarot reading a day for the next year, starting August 1st. So we've made it a month and a half. But I want to get 365 readings on there. And that's just what I do for fun because I do a card pull as I set my intentions and do my affirmations every day. And so I thought, let me just share this as well because I really enjoy it. And I've been doing tarot readings on the side, which I also really love and enjoy. But again, I'm not promoting those. There's not even a way that you can, you know, book that or anything. So It's just for fun for me on the side. Um, so that Instagram is there. It's faceless. If you aren't paying attention, you don't know it's me. And then my personal Instagram, which has never really been personal, or I guess it has been, but it has mostly been a business Instagram. It just has changed over the years to kind of follow me, and now it's shifting. It has been for a while into a place for sharing my writing and kind of creating community around that, and that will match the um, YouTube channel that I have for that. But I'm not, right now I'm detoxing from it. The only Instagram that I get on is the daily tarot thing, and that's just to post the reading, and then I hop off of it again. Everything else, I don't know when I'll come back. It'll probably be a good while, but they will remain for now, and then we'll just see what happens. In the world of podcasting, I don't know. Um, there have been conversations. I have not committed myself to anything because, like I said, I want to focus on the writing and I want to focus on my dual license. And those are the two most important things to me at this point in my life. Um, and I have a few other things kind of lined up around that. And I just want to focus on those things and I want to focus on my health and um, that's what I'm going to do. I've kind of gone into hermit mode and I like it here right now. It's very nice here right now. It's very cozy in this space right now. And I want to stay here for a little bit all by myself because it's lovely here. So, anyway, I feel like I have gone off the rails with this podcast. I hope not. I believe in synchronicity. I believe in symbolism. I think that it means something that September 17th, 2024 falls on a Tuesday. And September 17th, 2020 was the very first episode ever aired. And at that time, there was no schedule. I was just recording and posting when I felt like it. It wasn't until things started to pick up that I created a schedule. And now it just so happens that the anniversary date is on a date when I normally publish. And I think what a great way to celebrate making it here is to go out, right? Um, the day that I made the final decision, the absolute definitive, canceled all of my contracts decision to do this, I was thinking about it and I had opened up the Instagram account that I have for the tarot readings. And on the feed, I follow 9 accounts over there, okay? And none of them are animal accounts. So that's important to know here. On the feed, as soon as I opened up the app, the very first um, whatever thing that popped up on my feed was from, I don't even remember where, but it was like, let us introduce you to British Columbia's um, spirit bear or whatever. And for those who don't know, the spirit bear has been my symbol of confirmation for probably since 2011 or 2012. Um, the spirit bear is an albino brown bear. It's an all white brown bear. They are not common. So anytime I'm seeking confirmation for something, I ask the universe to show me a spirit bear, or at the very least, a brown bear. I didn't even ask for the confirmation this time. I was just thinking about it, open the app to get ready to post the tarot reading that I had for that day. And there was this, you know, 10 photo spread of spirit bears and an introduction to them and what they are and where they can be found. And that was it. That was my confirmation that this was the right decision to make. And since then, and that happened in August, I have been trying to figure out how to do it. But no, I have been knowing that it needs to be done in order to publish by September 17th. So this is the final time that I'm going to try to record this. I apologize if it was kind of a mess, but so am I. And I hope that if you have been here for any length of time, that you have found something in it that has helped you along the way. I hope that you have had an opportunity to realize that you're not alone, or to reflect on your own experience and your own journey, whatever it has meant for you. I'm glad that you have been here for any part of the journey, and I am happy to have this moment with you as we turn off the lights and say goodnight for the last time. Please remember that you are human, and being human means that you are inherently worthy of love. And I hope that no matter what, along the rest of your journey, you can always remember that and take that with you. You are love. You have love. You are loved. I love you. 143.
Good night.